weeks, the days, the hours, when all the loneliness kicks in. You'll buy them drinks and send them flowers, but they won't love you like I did. You'll learn one day I'm one in a million, maybe in a billion. And when it's too late, oh, I got a feeling you'll be in your feelings. Go ahead, walk away. You're gonna miss the way I used to make you say, oh my God, night and day. You're gonna miss the way I used to make you say. We had some highs and lows and in-betweens. We could have stayed and worked it out. You got your arms around her when you sleep, but I'm the one you dream about. You'll learn one day I'm one in a million, maybe in a billion. When it's too late, oh, I got a feeling you'll be in your feelings, babe. Go ahead, walk away. You're gonna miss the way I used to make you say, oh my God, night and day. You're gonna miss the way I used to make you say. Walk away. Oh my God, night and day. Go ahead, walk away. You're gonna miss the way I used to make you say, oh my God, night and day. You're gonna miss the way I used to make you say.
Hello!
We're live.
Woo! Welcome back, everybody. That was awesome.
Super excited
Marcos,
to have everyone here today. Can't wait to reveal the makers of this awesome music video. And yeah, what else, Kadi, do we have here in the introduction?
yeah. So first, before we start, Marcos, a little technical difficulty. Are you
Oh,
hearing a little bit of an echo before we start our amazing show? Well, while
are they
Marcos
hearing
looks
echo?
into
Let
that,
me see. Please hold.
please hold while Marcos looks into that.
No, we're good live. So the
All
echo,
right,
Kadi, is you. Sorry.
I'm having a weird echo, but I'm just going to deal with it. That's all right. So today we have an amazing hangout planned. So if you are not familiar with our hangouts, we like to get on here and connect with creators and just see what's happening in the FlipaClip world, and then also give some exciting news and updates. So welcome back, Marcos. What about Callie? No. so
I wasn't on last time, but it was you and Ryan, and you guys did an amazing job.
Okay, true. So we have some exciting news before we get into today's subject. So to start, the Blast remix. What is our little update there, Marcos?
Yeah, so tomorrow is the last day for you to post it on your social media channels, and next week we're gonna do a live and we're gonna announce the winners. We did say we were gonna announce the winners tomorrow, but there's so many things going on. We're gonna save it for next week. We'll go live on Thursday, and Friday, because Kali is gonna be moving.
Yes, moving. I'll maybe tell you where then. But so today we have an awesome team scholar joining us. So I don't know if you guys have seen the amazing music video that just played by Zedd. So that animation was made, as we'll learn maybe, entirely on FlipaClip, which is just crazy. So we have Danny and Will from the scholar team joining us to tell us about what it was like to work with Zedd and to use FlipaClip and all that fun stuff. So let's bring them in and start the interview.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're happy to be here.
Yeah, that's great. So little intro again, this is Will and Danny from the scholar team, and they worked on the incredible music video you guys just saw. So to start off, before we get into it, now we're touching on the animation world. I'd like to hear from the chat and you guys. Who is your favorite animated character?
Let's see. I'm gonna look at here the chat. Let's see, and it's like what 3-4 seconds delay. So people should be putting in. Well, we'll start with this one. Great job, guys. Thanks.
Okay, not quite a character, but thank you. But Danny, do you have a character in mind?
I do. I think my favorite animated character would be Princess Mononoke.
Okay.
I'm very into Studio Ghibli, so top tier.
Okay. Is that is Howl's Moving Castle from Studio? Okay,
yes.
That is my favorite movie. Like
that is another
down. And
that's a good.
Sorry, what? I cut you off there. What were you saying?
That's one of my favorite ones too. That's like one of my top 3.
Okay, amazing. I'm glad. I feel validated that you, as a pro animator, think it's cool. So I think it's cool. Okay, Will, do you have a character that you like?
Yeah, I'm reaching way back in the memory banks on this one, but I gotta go with Lion-O from the Thundercats.
Ooh.
Big fan fave. Loved the work that team did. So
that's awesome, Marcos. You had some recognition there. I'm gonna be honest. I think I have to Google this one. Do you know who this is, Marcos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thundercats also is one of my favorites, and I watched it because I'm from Argentina, so it was in Spanish. But every time he went like thunder,
Yep.
that they kept that in English. So everybody said like Thundercat. It was like all kinds of different ways. But
very cool.
It's a good,
awesome
good animation.
All right, well, Thundercats, we have Studio Ghibli. I think my favorite right now, strictly because I'm getting a dog and naming him Morty, has to be Morty from Rick and Morty. But that may be the reason. Peppa Pig. Let's see what some of our users are saying. Peppa Pig is
He-Man.
Hilarious.
That's another one.
But I don't even watch the show. He-Man. Do you know He-Man?
Great
Oh,
one. Great one. Yeah, Masters of the Universe.
Will, have
right.
you ever seen? It was like, I don't know, 10, 14 years ago, maybe. There was a He-Man like singing a meme or something, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
The web.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was appropriate, but yeah. Probably not.
All right. Well, moving on from that. No.
Yes, let's move on.
So thank you those are awesome characters now that we're nice and warmed up. So our scholar team that we have here today, as I said, made that incredible music video. So today we want to talk about how it was made, what it was like to work with top Billboard artists, and also how it was using FlipaClip. So to start, what was the timeline for this entire project? Like,
Wait, before we get into that one, let me give a little more intro to that.
Okay,
so Apple is the one that reached out to you guys, right? And you've done many work for Apple, which is amazing. And all the projects, like if you guys check on the description, we have their links in there so you can see their amazing work. But I feel like it's important to give this introduction before we jump into that, because Apple has, been reaching out and like they always promote creativity and apps, and we've been in that line, and so we really appreciate what they've been doing and giving more exposure to our app. But also, it was really neat to see how they brought this together. You know, last year they did something similar with Procreate and you guys too. So that was really neat to see. Now it was FlipaClip's turn, and obviously, just as a disclaimer, because I even put this in my notes as a disclaimer, like obviously FlipaClip is we say internally that it's the door into the world of animation. It's just tiny bit, right? You don't have all these crazy features and workflows. We're gonna talk about that today. You know, like what you get in a pro, you know, Adobe product, or you know, like After Effects or whatever you do, and it's really for beginners. So we'll, knowing that disclaimer, you know, you guys had quite the challenge, and when we were showing this music video a few months ago, everybody was like, "Oh, I bet it took 6 months. I bet it took 1 year."
Yeah,
So
years.
sorry, guy, I had to like bring that introduction there. It's really important. But anyways, so
No, that's
you wanna-
great. That's great background for why we're talking about timing, is because of the challenge here of making like this. You guys saw how many frames that must be. Like, try to do the math. So we want to know actually how much time these incredible animators had. So first, I want to hear the timeline of like the whole music video, because I saw, you know, those awesome pictures. Like Danny's there with in the, you know, music video set with the monitor. Like you, it seemed like you guys were super involved. And I know Marcos is going to pull up some videos that they provided while we go through it. But yeah, tell us about the timing of this.
Yeah, we had it's short. So working in commercials and advertising, our timelines are in a matter of weeks, sometimes days rather than months even. So we had about 5 weeks start to finish on this for the creative process. That kind of included plus or minus, you know, like a week here or there for the live action portion of it. And I think, you know, because we've worked with the Apple team before and we love them, we trust them, they trust us, we kind of were able to slim it down even more and just like jump right into or right past kind of the get to know you phase, you know? So I think like Danny and the team were immediately in kind of concept, art, drawing, illustration, as we were starting to learn FlipaClip and kind of getting to know what the process of the live action was going to look like.
Yeah, I think even before we shot, drawing up concepts and things that we could add in after the live action was shot, just to begin the conceptual kind of ideation before getting fully into it.
Yeah. Wait, so you're saying you only had 5 weeks? You're not talking about just the animation. Like the music video was 5 weeks?
Yeah, we had about 5 weeks shooting. Once it was shot, from set to completion, we had about 5 weeks. So that includes the edit process, which was also really fast, and so there was a lot of things kind of overlapping. So when you're talking about, you know, using FlipaClip in a production kind of pipeline, we had to figure it out really quickly so that it was able. We could have multiple artists on different parts of the job, even on overlapping parts of the job. To be able to kind of like trade files, make sure that we were kind of hustling as fast as we could. So it was fast. It was a new program, but it was also, you know, we kind of pride ourselves on continuing to learn. So you guys gave us a challenge, but it was good. It worked out really well in the end.
Yeah, your team was amazing. I remember having a meeting, and you were in it. That was the first time, and everybody had like really nice smile, and I'm like, oh, they don't even know what they're in for. but you were already into it, so you know, obviously it takes a lot of time. And when you say, because there were some really key words that you were using in the industry, in the professional side of things, you mentioned pipeline, live action. So the live action will be like going and making a video of it. So also you have in the world, I guess, pre-production, production, and post, and you guys were mixing those together. The idea, well, you have to go and video that, well, then you have to go and start creating the animation, start thinking about that concept. And Danny, like it looked like, and from the interview that I heard before from Will, he said that it's really cool how you guys get to experiment, not just to be an animator, but also doing film, video, whatever it is, you know, almost like a T-shaped person. You know, you're good to do a couple of different things. Tell us about
I like
that
that.
experience.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I started as a frame by frame animator, so for me getting into the live action stuff, Will has been kind of pushing me to learn in that direction, which I've really enjoyed. Like, I never thought like from going to like drawing pictures on my iPad or computer to like being on set that would happen. So it's been really cool to kind of like meld those two together. I think for this project specifically, it was extra melded just because we had such a short timeline. So we kind of just mushed the entire process together, and everything, as what was saying, was overlapping a lot, and just kind of worked to pull the concept all the way from beginning to end and keep that in mind while we were just cranking everything out.
Yeah, I think that's too kind of going back to the beginning of the process was, trying to design things that we knew that we could animate later on. I think like we really, and Danny did a great job. I mean, with a bunch of the team, we had some amazing kind of leads and animators and designers there as well, but kind of figuring out using the tools that were at our disposal to design so that we knew that we could conquer the things later on. And I think that's something that I think FlipaClip has done really well, is like opened up this kind of portal to experimentation and trying things. And it's not like you open it and there's a huge array of things. It's very focused and kind of creates the focus on the keyframes and the art itself, versus you could do an infinite amount of things, which to me, sometimes I open something that has that and I immediately close it and then I go play video games because I'm like, that seems too hard. So, it's something that actually helped us along the process, right? Yeah. It was a finite amount of stuff.
I was excited to hear from you guys that, because through the years with my brothers, we've always been thinking like, okay, yes, we could add keyframes, we could add filters, we could add all kinds of these extra things, but then it doesn't really, so if it's for a workflow and all that stuff, yes, we would like that to get better. But since it's just for newcomers, everybody coming in, it's kind of better to have less amount of options, and
Yep.
And then you use your head. I'm gonna date myself big time here, but it's like the MacGyver way, where what do I have around me, right? And what can I make with the stuff that I have around? So everybody go search MacGyver, and then
you're animating with a paper clip and some toothpaste,
Yeah.
and animate your way out of a prison.
Yeah. So let me jump in quickly here, because I think this is what everybody wants to hear about. So now we know 5 weeks, but that's like from beginning to end. Now, quickly, animation with FlipaClip, what was it? 1-2 weeks?
I think we had about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because we were designing at the same time we were in the live action process. So we had about 3 weeks, I think, with FlipaClip on after edit. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you're right. Yeah. It all blurs together at this point. But.
So and how many animators? Because Danny, you're I'm sure you were leading because you were the art director, right, for this. But obviously, I think there's more. So tell me, and how many people work with you?
That's hard to say. We had a pretty good sized team just because it was very fast, so we wanted to make sure that we were able to get like the volume of everything done and have enough hands on it. I don't know how many for sure.
I
rotating.
It's a good moment to give a shout out to Irma,
Yes.
Madison, Amy, and Zach for just being complete, troopers throughout, and just like leading different sections and just like helping creative on that. But we had about anywhere from 7 to 10 people, I think, kind of rolling through at any given time, depending on the amount, which is, I think, like when we're talking about the ability to kind of share files, the layering, we saw somebody ask or mention in the comments about how many layers this, and that was a conversation we had, I think, when we talked about, can we have some more layers, please? Which like you guys were this on, but it was really nice in that capacity. But I think about 10 people we rolled around on, but there's probably a better answer in the credits list on our site.
Take a look at that.
Oh, that's great.
So, and then your process. Oh, go ahead, Kadi. Sorry, I just was excited.
No, I was just gonna jump back into asking about the process, but you asked this last one, and then we'll go back to the.
No, it's not. It's not. The process is like the planning, the pre-production. You sit down and you heard the song. I'm sure that was the first thing. So you had a song, and so as you explain everything, think about everybody here joining us. They always like to find out how should they start a project. So sometimes we call it a mood board. I don't know what you guys call it, but sometimes you get some examples, some things that you look around. Tell us about that beginning process, and how did you come up with the concept? Did you have the song first?
We did. We had the song first, and we partnered with Colin Reed as well to do for kind of the directing live action side of things. So he had a great idea of just these kind of loop points, right?
So he's from Apple, right?
He's from a production company that we partnered
Okay.
with
Okay.
with Apple,
Okay.
like a triad of brains.
Okay.
So Colin worked with us to figure out a little bit of like what some of the concept was. Once we had on paper with references, the mood board, just like you're talking about, kind of like, what could this be? Danny and the team sat down and started to pull some references of like, what does it look like? So we had the feeling of it to start, and then it turned into what it looks like, which then you kind of ran with from there.
Yeah, I think we definitely always go through the process of like basic concept and like the communication that we want to get across with each piece first. And I think Colin had this really great idea that we kind of just like used as a jumping off point for ours. So we pulled some references, and we knew that each section was going to be a different emotion. So kind of like pulling the different types of like art styles per each moment that would kind of communicate that emotion in each chapter. And then just going from there into making some of our own original designs kind of based on that full emotion.
Yeah, and we helped to kind of craft these different worlds. What moment do we lean in? So we start sadness, right? So like the first, broken up with, she feels grief, she's sad. Then the second is she just wants to light the entire world on fire, which I feel like we can all relate to. And then the third is like, you know what, I've accepted it, and I'm going to be a better person for this. So we kind of helped with that. Our design team was just like, let's just make some really cool frames. Like, let's just draw on top of things and figure out what the heck different moments that could be really nice. So then we were able to take that as like an a la carte menu after we had the live action to be able to start to, point at like, at this point we want to have a phoenix fly through. At this point we want her to turn into a fire monster. At this point she fills up with tears. So, we kind of, it was a lot of front end heavy lifting from the design phase that then kind of funnels into the animation.
Yeah, I think usually we would
No,
storyboard. Since this was such a like quick process, we ended up just doing sketches and frames over each of those moments, and then kind of going straight from there into full animation.
Yeah, beautiful.
Wow. No, I read so much online when we first heard this was happening, and I set up these like listening tools and everything to scrape the internet to see, how they felt about this music video. And everywhere, like, I have to say, I didn't find one negative comment. And everyone was just like, wow, you can really feel the emotion that they tried to get, like I was deep into like Reddit chains and everything. And people were like, wow, like you can really feel, what it's like to get, broken up with, and she's just angry and it's coming out. Like it was really well done. But so yes, I commend you because that was amazing talking about those feelings. So I wanted to ask, because it reminded me when you were saying, oh gosh, I'm blanking on where I was going with that.
No, actually, I was going to go through with what you were saying. Actually,
okay, pick up. Here we go. Teamwork makes the work.
This is a live show that's different. What I also liked a lot is you look at this and you had to use, because also just for everybody to know, Scholar, this animation awesome group of people, Scholar, you guys were told you cannot use any other app to do the animation. You have to stick with this, because what Apple in this case was trying to show, and if you guys see, they have commercials where they use FlipaClip in this music video to tell everybody that was made on iPad. And so your criteria, it was like, you have to use these tools, and you don't have that many brushes. You only have 4, and you probably use 2 or 3 of them. And for everybody asking for brushes, that's actually coming. We have a big amount of brushes coming soon. We were just debating on that, but we are coming with a lot. So
It's
Danny
coming,
and you
yes.
guys, if you guys want to explore that later on, we have some. We even have an internal app that it's actually creating brushes. It's super cool.
It's
But
crazy. Yeah, it's wild.
but just to see the tools that you use here and try to make it so good, like shading. I mean, I was just scrubbing through here. There was one. Where is it? Let me go right to it.
While you look, what was your favorite brush to use, Danny, when you use this?
I tend to like the more like textural stuff, so I think the pencil brush for me, but like kind of blown up a lot bigger, had that nice like hand drawn like texture look.
Yeah.
So I think
Okay.
that
All right.
good.
Like
I
even
think
the
you're the only
clouds.
person
Like
I've ever heard say that. Most people are like, I didn't even know you had the pencil. But that's awesome
I
to
don't
hear.
So I'm always big on texture. So like, yeah, for a lot of the like, we use different brushes for different chapters as well to like kind of get like the softness of the pencil brush in the like sad chapter. And then we use like the harder edged paintbrush for the anger chapter and everything. But I'm always going to be texture all the way. That's what does
Wow,
it
that's
for me.
really
this
cool.
one was such a
You
cool.
guys
Yeah,
thought
that's a good
about
thumbnail.
texture for the moods, which is so cool. Like, yeah, wow, you guys thought of everything. Yeah, that the Medusa scene has to be my favorite for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the while we're going through and before you go into this, Marcos, what was the hardest scene to animate while we're right with the music video? Because I want to pull up to it if you can find it, Marcos.
I would say the Medusa scene definitely had its. I mean, you imagine Medusa and that many snakes. That's like X amount of different characters that we had to animate over the course of it. So that was probably one of the harder scenes. I think the water was tough. The fire, just anything that's really organic like that always had a little bit of an edge.
Okay.
And then not like over answering everything. I know, I'm so sorry, but everything was hard. But at the very end when we kind of stitched everything together and she just had that kind of euphoric, transitional moment, I think just like figuring out how we get from each one of those moments was conceptually probably harder than it was, just like hand by hand, but frame by frame.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Long answer.
When no, that's cool. When you're looking at something like Medusa, that Medusa scene, how many people worked on that? Like, is that just one, or are you doing layers? Does everybody get a snake head? Like, what's the deal there?
That's a great question.
I think normally we would just have one animator kind of take that from start to finish and just own that shot. That's generally how we tend to do things because their like artistic vision tends to carry through more in that. I think for that one, had somebody roughing it out.
I think
and then,
3 people ended up touching it, yeah.
Yeah, so we had somebody roughing it out, and then the way that we had to do things was very quick. So just in terms of who freed up and everything, we ended up having people take it like through a rough stage and then through a cleanup stage. I think like tag one a little bit.
Okay. Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine. I can't even draw the bouncing ball. So like, this is wild that you guys got this.
That one.
Oh, Marcos, what were you pulling up before I go on to the next question?
Oh, go ahead.
Were you
No, you're good.
No. All right. So this is the question I've been, as a fan of Zedd, I've been wanting to ask. Did you get to work with the artist, and what was their involvement, if so?
We did, yeah. We actually, so on set, we were able to kind of like mind meld, which is again a process that we are.
That's an
phrase
industry
we
term,
use.
yeah.
Mind meld. We're always bashing heads together, but I think we got to sit together with with Maren and the Apple team and Zedd as well, and kind of talk about animation, the stuff that they were digging. Worked with Zedd and Maren's teams. And then we ultimately got to go party with Zedd in Las Vegas, which isn't necessarily our jam, but we did get to go hang out and do a little bit of like the
Oh,
premiere.
that's cool. I'm jealous. That is awesome.
It was fun.
Very cool. Did they have their part in the concept, or was that really you guys bringing forward the emotions and the scenes, those 3 emotions?
I think Colin was mainly behind the general concept of the video, and then it was our job to kind of take that concept and express each emotion through the animation, given that each footage loop was actually identical. I know that when we talked to Zedd and Maren on set, like we kind of explained like how we were gonna channel that and like what kind of methods we were gonna use in terms of like texture and color and like theme and all of that, like for each bit, and kind of had a gut check with them on how they felt about that and anything that they wanted us to hit.
Yeah,
So
it's like a nice like foundation. I think like all the design animation, you know, once it went through live action, which we kind of played around with the Apple team a lot with, once it kind of got through that layer and we were able to, you know, help kind of put all the pieces together, got into animation, we were just full steam ahead. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of time for everybody to kind of weigh in.
Right.
So luckily, we were able to kind of
Right at the
like, you know, have Zedd and Maren fall in love with us as much as we loved them, and just kind of full steam through everything. So they were great team members too.
Yeah.
I think like they were excited. They had a good note along the way. So it was really nice. It was a very much a collaborative process from start to finish.
Danny,
Oh, great. That's
Danny, how did you get started in animation? What was the first thing? And like, do you, maybe not how old, but it's in that range, you know, when was the first time you were like, oh my goodness, this is my thing?
Well, let's see. I went to Otis College of Art and Design, and the funny thing is that I won't say what year. Well, I graduated 2015. You can know that. I'm okay with this. But I actually started thinking that I was going to go into fashion design or concept art, which is wildly different from what I'm currently doing.
Right.
But then I ended up trying some like frame by frame animation maybe 2 years in, and I fell in love with it. So from then on, I just went straight into motion graphics, which is kind of like the more commercial side of the animation. For me, it feels a lot more instant gratification in terms of like shorter timelines and getting to have more creative control than the bigger projects. So
So I guess,
that's how
you got into the drawing first.
yes, yeah. I was definitely like the art kid in high school, which maybe some of the viewers can relate to.
Yeah.
So like drawing, painting,
Art kids.
sculpting, yeah.
our kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And then I
we put
ended up-
your bio link in the description too, but sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that then translated into going into animation once I kind of discovered that was an option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we see that a lot, and we like we've had many creators who joined a contest a few years ago, and maybe they were like, what was it? There was one winner from Mexico, and he was a 15 or 16, and he won, has a good following in YouTube, and then now he's working for a production company in Mexico City.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's really cool, you know,
That's
to
so-
see like how everybody finds and that's what we were saying before we started the show, you know, how we wish we had like YouTube back then, or you know, or just like an app or something that to help us, you know, get into it. So you kids are
Marcus,
very
I'm with
lucky today.
I mean, that's what we were, you know, we talked a lot, you know, as we were kind of going through the beginning process of learning it. And I think what we were, from our side, most impressed with, one, you know, obviously it's a new tool. So like our team is like, okay, a new tool. We have our kind of pipeline system that already exists. We have our tools, we have our routines, you know, as any production company does. But we do pride ourselves at Scholar. Maybe it's part of the name Scholar, I'm not sure, of continuing to learn new techniques and new things and new softwares in order to just know what exists so we can keep conquering things. And I so wish that something like FlipaClip would have existed back when I was trying to decide what the heck to do with my life. You know, I think it would have helped just as an entry point in. And I think it's really important to just like try things out and be able to like have that access to be able to like learn or fail at something,
Right.
try an idea, or just put it on paper or screen. No paper anymore, but what people are able to do these days. And I think that it's such a cool thing that you guys have that and that the access to it. And, you know, everybody who's listening, of course, like play, you know, keep playing, keep trying things, keep pushing the limits, keep asking these guys for features that you know, thinks that it might be helpful or stuff like that. Cause it feels like such a cool community of creators that you guys are starting to like, you know, keep and grow from an age that feels really awesome.
They are amazing. We're just like blown away the things that they can come up with. Like you guys, like with very minimal, you know, you're almost like, you got these 3 things, go make something.
Right. Yeah. The best stuff happens out of that. It's like 3 blocks in a cube.
And you know, that was the limitation when my brother Jonathan, who came up with the idea for FlipaClip, I started first in the video, and it was VHS at the time, and my dad bought me a camera in high school. And so I was doing stop motion, and then he got into doing stop motion with Legos. And imagine like VHS on the camera trying to do that, frame by frame. And then it turns into this, where it had to go through that and find a way to make it easier. And for people today, they might say, well, it's not that easy. Well, you should see what it was before.
Yeah.
I think it's like the fact that you had 4 brushes. You started with 4 brushes. It's like you don't have any presets to rely on for certain things. And I think that's like in general, animation. It's amazing when it's like the most talented animators in our team, when it's like we're able to just create something really cool that has emotion from something so simple. And I think that's the stuff that we really try to we pride ourselves and our team on. Is just let's just create emotion out of it's the dot and the line, right? The old animated.
Well, one thing that inspires me a lot to especially be with you guys, because you're one of the best agencies in the world. The best. And to see that they are normal people, normal human. They're not like all this high celebrity and all this craziness. And I like it because it really inspires many. For example, if in today's day, if you're looking for an animator, right, it's not necessarily anymore where everybody sends you a resume. You're looking constantly on social. You're finding things. And if somebody stands out with what they do, what they love, which is really good to have an outlet like that, and you don't have to depend on anyone other than just being able to find you. And like you say, be persistent. Don't stop. I think this is kind of like one of those questions, like, what would you tell somebody to, get to that professional world? And it's super simple in this sense. It's there's no more people. They're always looking. They're fun. Like you can see when we talk with you guys. Yeah, the biggest smile too. I think it was the second time that we finally gave you 50 layers. And 50 layers might be coming soon for you guys. We just don't want to break the phone or the.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're close to it.
Kylie, I know we kind of deviated a little bit, but I think we're getting close.
Yeah, no,
I think.
I just have one. I have one burning question for them before we end, and I'm looking into the audience, and I can tell they want to know too. So you're someone who is a pro animator, is good at drawing. You definitely have background, but this was FlipaClip's new. I would like to know if you figured out any hacks. We're all about hacks here, as we said. It takes a while, but did you get into a flow of I love when people learn they can copy and paste, and then they get this whole new style, and you can see almost where they're copy and paste, stuff like that. So was there any hacks or features that you ended up really relying on or using in a creative way?
That's a really good question.
You can also
the answer is yes. What they were, because we move so fast, they've already kind of gone here.
It's okay.
But what they were, I can't totally remember, and that
it was such a whirlwind. I think we definitely we tend to animate on this might get technical, but we do 24 frames per second for live action, and then we'll animate on twos, so at 12 frames per second. So we draw each frame and we duplicate the frame for the next frame. So each frame plays. So we do that for live action when we have the footage at a higher frame rate, because it would look kind of gross at 12 frames per second. But then to save our animators ourselves, selfishly, we animate on twos. So we did end up using a lot of that copy and paste and duplicating frames in that case. If that works as an answer to that question, that definitely happened a lot.
No, that's totally an answer. That's a great answer too, because I remember going in with the team slowing down the video, and we were looking at parts, and I was like, I think that looks like copy and paste, but it looks beautiful. It's all amazing. But I was trying to figure out what you guys were doing, again, because you had 2 hours to make a video, so you had to get them hacks.
Yeah, that's one of the standard things that we do, because we do tend to meld live action and animation a lot, so we tend to use that in different ways. But then sometimes with the tracking and stuff like that, to make it not jump a little bit, we will just copy and paste that animated or drawn frame and then just move it over tracking wise. So that may have been what you were looking at.
Yeah, the water, because we were how the heck did they do that? That was just so cool and well done, and I was it's gotta be something. Yeah. It looked great in the end. You would never know. But okay, that's a good hack for all you FlipaClippers out there. frame rate. And we actually just put a great how-to video on frame rate. So this is full circle.
Yeah,
Did you
I'll be
guys see
interested
it?
to see what you guys think, because that one kind of turned out to be viral. Shout out to Ryan. We
Shout out
were
to
like, how
yeah.
can we teach it? Let's make it funny. And he just went all in with like memes and stuff. So
Like that.
you have to watch it. Yeah, it's a hilarious
Memes.
explanation.
Yeah, you're among
If
friends.
I have to
yeah.
learn through anything, it should be
It should be
through
through memes. Yeah, that's how we think. It's through memes. So you already
That's
nailed it with
amazing.
the man reference from
Oh.
earlier.
That's awesome. Okay, good, because that's like pretty much our strategy is just like use memes, and that's it. All we have so far. So I'm glad to know you agree.
But it's working. Recently.
Yeah. Sorry, what'd you say? You cut out quick.
It's definitely working for you, so you're doing something right.
Thank you. We learn from the best, our friends at Scholar. They teach us, you know. Yeah, I did. So Marcos, I'm looking through the chat, but mine's a little delayed. Are there any last questions or
Let me see.
from the audience? JetBlue is calling me. We don't need that right now. I'm just trying to look at YouTube.
No, there's really no questions other than, you know, people were really liking the videos. I think specifically when we were showing the behind the scenes. But no, this was great. We one thing that we do too is we've thrown a survey a long time ago about what people would like to do in the app. For example, like challenges, and they always want challenges, and we've been doing a lot of more so challenges. Soon we're going to be doing a contest, maybe. Stay tuned. It's super good and big. But yeah, we've seen that people just want a challenge. They don't even care so much about the prices. And so I think it's a good way to learn. It's not for everyone, because I'm not a good hand drawing. I do After Effects. That's my background, motion graphics. But being able to draw on video, rotoscoping, that's been like really fun to see. And so that's a good way to get started. But yeah, Kali, I think we better let our awesome friends here go rest.
Go rest. Okay.
You guys,
thank you so much.
They've been
Wait,
doing interviews for the last 2 months about this. So imagine, they probably go sleep and think about the questions and answers.
No, we love talking about what we're up to.
But it was such an honor. Yeah, it's such an honor to meet you guys, and how down to earth you are. You're a great example. I think a great inspiration to all of us. And yeah, I hope that we can work again together like this. And yeah, there's some good like tweaks and things like that coming to the app that are major.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll keep you posted if you guys want.
Please.
Yeah.
Let us know. Yeah, we're pumped. It was nice. Thanks for having.
Yeah,
thanks
so much.
Thanks for letting us talk about ourselves and our process.
We love to just go on and on about this stuff. So great questions.
All day.
I love it. Yeah, maybe we'll in one of the next few contests or something like that. We'll get you guys to maybe be the
judges. They should judge. Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
Are you up for that? Are you up for seeing thousands of submissions?
Oh, we are down.
No, actually, I promise. We do have a process where somebody goes through them and then it gets to you clean. But yeah, if you're up, that'll be fun.
Let us know.
Yeah, great. I think that's perfect because they definitely can't participate because that would be highly unfair. But you guys can judge it.
I'd love to see whatever. Sounds like a great time.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Definitely. We'll bring Scholar back. You guys will all see Scholar here again in our next competition.
Let's do it.
Just you wait.
Thank you so much, guys. And Kali, before we close, just thank you so much again. We'll reach out to you guys very soon.
Amazing. Sounds good. Thanks so much.
Everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thank you.
And writing.
Yeah, he's still here. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it's like, where did he go? Thank you so much. And as our final little updates, again, remember to tune in to our show. Am I wrong to say it's tomorrow? Is our live show tomorrow? No, next week.
No, next week.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting all
That was going to be crazy.
Next week. I'm crazy. Next week we
Friday.
will be announcing. the Blast Remix winners. And so yeah, we're getting through those submissions, and tomorrow's the last day, and we will announce our winners. But thank you so much for tuning in and hearing the awesome team from Scholar, and we'll see you guys not tomorrow, but next week.
Bye.
Bye.